significantly, meaning that we need more, not less. But this is done purposefully to make it difficult for people to vote. And it's so key that this new law would require that before they could institute any change to their election procedures, to their polling place locations, to their number of polling places, that they would have to give notice to the public, and thereby notice, of course, to lawyers and others that we would see it, that they are going to propose such a thing. Before they can enact it, they got to give notice. So that national notice provision is a key because it's national. It's all over the country. It's not just the South. It's anywhere in the nation that national notice provision would be required. There's so many other good elements of that act. I'm not going to talk about it all because I want you, the listener, get that pen, get that pad, get that your smartphone ready, because I'm going to tell you where you can get more information on that act. Are you ready? I'm going to give you one more second. It's called the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And you can go to Sewell, SEWELL .house.gov, G-O-V. That's Sewell, SEWELL .house.gov, and you should go there and get a copy of the bill. In fact, you can find information. It's right on the front page of her website. When you go there, you don't even have to search. It's right there in your face. It's very prominently displayed, and you can learn all about that act. But we also want you to do what we've been telling you to do for the last shows, and that is to call 202-224-3121 and ask for, your member of Congress, your House of Representatives, and your senators, and tell them that you want them to pass the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Tell them that this is what they must do in our times. Call Johnson, call any of these people, and tell them this is what you want right now, that you need to get this done. And that's what we want to do. Again, Sewell.house.gov to see the bill, 202-224-3121. Right, Daryl?
Absolutely, Barbara. I definitely want people to go there to support the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and its introduction. But we don't stop there, Barbara. We don't stop there. One of the things that happened during the president's message during the joint session of Congress was that as the president was speaking, he started talking about his mandate, this mandate that he supposedly has, which, by all stretches of the imagination is not a mandate that he has, but he was preaching about this mandate. And one congressman, stood up for the American people because he's talking about the mandate to cut Medicaid. And Congressman Al Green stood up and said, Mr. President, you don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid. You don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid. And as he was standing up, confronting the president regarding that mandate disillusion that the president has going on, he was talked to by the Speaker of the House and told to sit down, told this grown congressman to sit down. And to Congressman Al Green's credit, he said, I'm not sitting down. I'm standing up. I'm going to stand up for the American people. I'm going to stand up for those that need Medicaid, that need Medicaid, that need Medicare, that need Social Security. He said, I'm standing up. That's who I'm standing up for. They ended up having him escorted off of the floor of the House, and then they came back and they censored him. That is, that they came back and they said that it was a breach of decorum, and as a breach of decorum, they did a vote to censor him. After they censored him from the House of Representatives, Barbara, they had him come and stand in the well of the House, and they started to read to him the resolution of what he had done and why they were censoring him. What made this even worse? Now, this is a man who's standing up for American principles and American voters and those that are poor. What made this even worse, Barbara, as the vote went down, there were 10 Democrats that voted along with the Republicans,
so-called Democrats,
to censor Congressman Al Green for having the audacity to stand up for the people that voted for him and for the millions of Americans that would be victims of these cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, as well as Social Security. I want to take this moment, Barbara, because I got to point this out. Here are the 10 Democrats that voted with the Republicans to censor a Democrat from standing up for working-class Americans. Representative Amy Barra out of California. Representative Ed Case out of Hawaii. Jim Costa out of California. Laurie Gillen out of New York. Marie Guasakamp Perez out of Washington. Jim Hine out of Connecticut. Chrissy Houlihan out of Pennsylvania. Marcy Kaptur in Ohio. Jared Moskowitz out of Florida. And Tom Suozzi out of New York. Y'all need to let those folks know that what Democrats need to do is to stand up like Al Green stood up, not sit back and be silent. We encourage everyone listening to this show today to call Congressman Al Green. Let him know that you stand with him. He can be reached at 202-225-7508. 202-225-7508. Call him up. Thank him for standing up, because there's a time, as John Lewis would say, there's a time when you just got to get in the way. And that's what Congressman Al Green was doing, getting in the way for something that was good, getting in the way, bringing good trouble. That's what he was doing during that moment, Barbara. And we've just got to encourage people to lift him up at that 202-225-7508 telephone number, Barbara. You know, it's a time, and I can remember Al Green saying, and I'll stop on this note, Barbara. I can remember Al Green saying that he's old enough when he could remember being forced to ride on the back of the bus. He is old enough that he could remember, being forced to drink out of a particular water fountain marked for his color. He could remember as a child having a cross burned in his front yard. This is what he remembers. These were his experiences. So when he says it's time to get up and do something, we need to listen. We don't censor him for that. We thank him for that. So that's why I encourage everyone, Barbara, to call that 202-225-7508 and thank him for standing up and let him know you're standing with him, Barbara.
Amen. And to our wonderful guest, Eldric, please tell people how do they get in touch with you, and give us a 1 minute closing statement, because you've heard this show, you've talked and shared. Just do it right now, Eldric.
Well, yes. I guess my 1 minute closing statement would be that we need to make sure that our children and our grandchildren are not slaves again. And I want that to marinate with everyone, because we're going back that direction again if everyone does not wake up and educate themselves. So
my Lord.
You all are educating yourselves. Check your local policies, your local laws, your local government. Check what your commissioners are doing, your senators, and your state government, and get involved. Be aware. Just be aware of what's going on. My social media handle on Instagram is Eldric Coleman. That's ELDRIC COLEMAN. And I'm LinkedIn Eldric Coleman as well.
Love you. Thank you so much. Angel, your 1 minute, and how do people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Thank you. As my two-time founder and soror, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune says, I leave you a responsibility of our youth. So with my 1 minute, I want to challenge the D9 who are listening. Each of us have youth groups, and I would like to challenge each chapter who has a youth group, an active youth group, to bring one of their youth groups to the 61st. It is our responsibility to protect and promote our history, and how do you do that better than bringing them to see the history outside of the books? You guys can get in touch with me in the community. I will be outside. Follow this organization that I'm working with currently. It is GetFree_NVMT. We have an action coming up on April 18th in D.C., And you can get more information on that on our call coming up on March 26th. Again, that is getfree_NVMT. I want to see you guys on that call on March 26th.
Thank you. And now?
Yeah, so I guess my call to action is this. We have to find community. You look into your community, whether it's your neighbors, it's your church, it's your community centers, you find like-minded people, and you think about in the now and in the future, what is one thing that we can be doing to make our communities a better place in the face of what's ahead. And that's not just voting, it's making sure that, do these kids need help with tutoring? Do we need a pantry? Are we reaching out and creating resources for the federal workers that we want to help protect Medicaid in this fight? How can you be making the fight easier in a way that maintains your safety, and if safety is at risk, consider whether it's worth it? Because what's ahead of us might require an all-hands-on-deck, buck-up, rapid response. And I think we can do it. As James Baldwin said, I'm an optimist because I'm alive, and I believe that we'll get through the things that we need to get through because we have to get through them. The best way to find me is on my Blue Sky, because I do not have an X anymore, and that's Backward River.
Thank you. Daryl, take us home.
Thank you to all of our guests, Jonnita Dockens, Eldric Coleman, Angel Edwards, Erial Hunter, Nile Blass. Thank all of you for all that you have done. Folks, I tell you, our call to action remains the same. Please contact those representatives that we spoke about, Representative Amy Barra out of California, Ed Case out of Hawaii, Jim Costa out of California, Lauren Gillen out of New York, Marie Glusenkamp-Perez out of Washington, Jim Hines, Connecticut, Chrissy Houlihan, Pennsylvania, Marcy Captor, Ohio, Jared Moskowitz out of Florida, and Tom Suzy out of New York. Contact them. Tell them shame on them. They should stand with Congressman Al Green, and then call Congressman Al Green and support him. 202-225-7508 to contact Congressman Al Green. Folks, I leave you on this note. One of the messages that Congressman Al Green received was that they thought that it would be appropriate for him to wear a rope as a necktie, if you know what I'm saying. Folks, we've got to stand up to these bigots that are there. Stand with Congressman Al Green. Give him a call, 202-225-7508. Folks, until next Tuesday,
Wait a
noon,
minute.
Eastern Standard Time.
Hold on. One thing, folks, we are absolutely blackouting Amazon and through the 14th. Go to our no DI, no buy. We are blacking out Amazon this whole week until the 14th. Be sure to participate in the blackout. Go ahead, Daryl.
All right, drop that Amazon app that you got on your phone. No Amazon Prime. Get off the sidewalk. Get into the streets. Let's get in good trouble, y'all. Next Tuesday, noon, Eastern Standard Time, here on the iconic radio station here in D.C. Peace, everybody. WOL.
Peace.
Peace.
The preceding program was paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
Donors choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future.
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? Let's do the math. That comes out to over $1.2 billion a year. And that's just not right. At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Here's what you can do. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, history, and more. Once a
News Talk 1450 and 95.9 WOL with the Carl Nelson Show. Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. Reverend Al Sharpton keeping it real from 1 to 4 p.m. And the Tavis Smiley Show from 4 to 7 p.m. Download our mobile app and take us everywhere you are or listen live at WOLDCnews.com. The news and issues that matter to you most from Carl Nelson, Reverend Al Sharpton, and Tavis Smiley on 1450 and 95.9 WOL. 1450 WOL, Washington, D.C. 95.9 W240DJ, WMMJ HD3, WDCJ FM HD3, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.